Hi, this is Cindy from Vintage to New with a free video tutorial and pattern. You can get this off of my website. What it is a cute little bib and burp cloth. This particular pattern can be used with any kinds of fabrics that you would like. This is a cotton fashion fabric backed with a terry cloth towel on both pieces. It could easily be done with a boy fabric or a girl fabric. You could use all kinds of other embellishments, but I show you how to do this raw edge applique using Wonder Under. My one tip before you get started is, because towels are 100% cotton and your fabric is 100% cotton, I definitely recommend you wash them and dry them both before you cut out your fabric. So let's get started. Okay, I cut out 2 bibs and 2 burp cloths out of my fashion fabric, and you'll notice that it has a little area right here, and I'll show you what that is when we get ready to go. So let's get started with our burp cloth and our bib. You can make 2 bibs and 2 burp cloths with slightly over half a yard, so about 5/8 of a yard will get you 2 bibs and 2 burp cloths. Just like there's lots of ways that you can make your bibs, there's lots of choices. Today we're just going to do plain fabric, and then we're just going to do a small applique out of just a cute fabric. It's something that's super quick and super easy. So what I've done is I have a little piece of fabric, it was a scrap, and I ironed on the back a fusible, paperback fusible web. Okay, you can see where the paper is right here. It looks like this. It's paper on this side and it's glue on this side, and you follow the instructions and you iron it onto the back side of your fabric. My only word of caution is don't ever get your iron onto the glue part, because it will stick to your iron and it's really hard to get it off. So this is sometimes known as Wonder Under. There's lots of different names for it. So just go to your fabric store and look for paperback fusible web. Okay, the first little applique that I want to cut out is this little girl and her little dog right here. That's a good small size to fit on my bib. I'm going to do the bib first. So I'm just going to take a minute and cut her out. So here you can see I just cut her out, leaving a good little margin all the way around, and the fusible web is here on the back. I'm going to place it, you know, somewhere, leaving plenty of room for my seam going around the edge, so about right there. My one trick for getting that paper off the back is just to take a pin and just gently run it up the back like that, and it cuts through the paper. Then all you have to do is just pull it off like that. Okay? The other trick with this fusible web is don't try to peel the paper off while the fabric is still warm. Let it cool first, and it stays stuck a lot better. So now I'm going to take this to my ironing board, and I'm just going to press this cute little girl right there. So my applique is fused on. So now I'm going to take it over to my machine, and I'm going to sew 2 or 3 times just around the edge. This is called a raw edge applique, and even with the Wonder Under here, I like to sew it on for added security, because this is going to be washed a lot of times. The other thing is, because it's raw edge applique, depending on how you sew it on, you might get a little bit of raveling around the edge, but I think that's adorable, and it's very cool these days. So anyway, let me go over and sew this on. Okay, so here I am over at my sewing machine, and I'm just going to use a straight stitch, and I'm just going to sew close to the edge all the way around. When you go to a corner, of course, a turn, leave your needle down and go around the edge. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go around this, I think, 3 times, and I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, it's all sewn on. You can see my little stitches. Now, I just wanted to add a little bit of hand embellishment on here because that is just so quick and easy. I can spend a little bit of time doing some hand embellishments. So this is embroidery floss, and when you buy embroidery floss, it comes 6 strands to a skein. So I only want 3. So you take it and you pull it apart like so. All right, and then you just add it into your needle. And I'm just going to sew a couple of little X's to make it look like I hand sewed down this little applique. So I have a lot of space right here. I'm going to come up, down, go across through the back. So I can come back up, make an X. Just that quick and that easy. So I'm going to do another one here. And these are only for decoration. If you want to put it into an embroidery hoop, you can. You don't really need to, as long as you don't pull your string so tight that it's going to pucker your fabric. So let me finish these and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so you can see just a little bit of hand embellishment gives it just that little added cuteness. So now I'm going to show you my best trick for sewing these bibs and burp cloths. It has taken me years to figure this out. Okay, my trick is I don't cut the backing fabric to the exact size. I leave it big like this because for some reason when I've tried cutting this terry cloth before, it wants to wiggle and stretch and move around, and then up in here, different places, it just never seemed to line up just right. So it occurred to me, why not just sew it on like this? This little piece right here is the part that we're going to leave open. So I'm going to start sewing here. I'm going to sew up and around the neck, all the way around, and then I'll stop sewing here and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, you would sew this like you do any other seam. It's just a 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to come up and around and just sew all the way around. So I'll see you at the end. Okay, so you can see that I've sewn all the way around, and I wanted to point out so that you noticed I had pinned this down in lots of different places before I sewed it so that it would stay nice and flat. And I made my pins so that they would be out of the way where I sewed, so I can just leave them in place. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just cut out the bib like so. So I'm just going to carefully cut all the way around my bib. Okay, my bib is completely cut out, and so wherever there's a curve, here, there's lots of curves on this little bib, you take your scissors and you cut in very close to the line that you sewed, but do not clip your stitches. So you clip in about every 1/2 inch all the way around the curves. And what this does is when you turn it right side out, it's going to help it lay nice and flat. So spend some time clipping all of your curves, and then I'll be right back. I've done all my clipping all the way around. So now at this opening right here, I'm going to turn it right side out. So I'm just going to turn it, pulling it out through that opening until it's right side out. Up in the little back of the bib, when you turn this, push it through like this as gently as you can, and then use like the end of a chopstick or something like that and gently push it out so that it comes completely turned right side out. All right, see, it's still stuck in there a little bit. So just keep pushing gently because you don't want to go through your seam. All right, there it is. So now it's completely pushed out. So do this all the way around. So here it is. I've taken it over and I've pressed it so that it's nice and flat. And where those little tabs were that stuck out here on the edge, I took a second and I pushed them in and I made it so that you can't even tell that they were there. Your bib on the top goes straight down over that. So I'm going to top stitch. I'm going to start up here and just go all the way around. I'm going to pin this so it doesn't move on me. And I'm going to just top stitch all the way around. I'll be right back. So here's what it looks like at this point. Here's the front and the back. This particular towel, I started at the very end and it had this little ribbing thing in it. And I thought, well, it looks kind of cute on the back of the bib. I wasn't going to waste all of that terry cloth. Now your towel, I have tons of towel left over to make more bibs or burp cloths, but I love this little terry backing because it's so absorbent. So the next thing we're going to do is I want to put a bow on it. So I cut about 15 inches or so of 3/4 inch ribbon, satin ribbon. I think this is double face satin ribbon. It's nice on both sides. And I'm gonna fold it into a bow, tie it into a bow. Okay, I'm gonna get it to the size that I want it, like that. Just keep working it until I have it just how I want it. Okay, so here's my bow, just how I want it. So now I'm gonna put both of the ties together. All right, and then I'm gonna cut it at an angle, like that. Now my trick is to keep this from fraying. I take a lighter and I just run it right across the edge like that, and it melts it just enough so that it won't fray. So now I'm going to sew it on. I have centered the bow right in the front of the bib. I didn't put it clear up to the top. I gave myself, it looks like maybe 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to put it under my presser foot and I'm going to pull this little center piece where the knot is back just a little bit. I'm going to sew down this side, back and forth a couple times. Then I'm going to just pick my presser foot up. I'm going to move over to the other side and do the same thing. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, I've trimmed up all of my strings. Now I'm going to just push this little knot back over where I sewed on, and you won't even be able to see it. So here is my little bib so far. Okay, we're getting ready to do the Velcro. This is that scratchy side of the Velcro, so I'm going to put it here, and then the soft side of the Velcro I'm going to put here. All right, so when it comes over, it's going to go this way. And then if this were to rub on the baby's neck at any time, it's not going to hurt, okay, not be scratchy. So I cut this side bigger because I want it to be more adjustable. Okay, so this one here is about 2 inches long. And I'm going to sew it here. So when I do this piece, I can come clear over to here, make it small, or I can make it bigger. Okay, so that makes sense. So anyway, I'm going to take this over to my machine and sew this on right now. Okay, so here is our finished bib, and it was just that fast, just that quick and easy. The Velcro is here. I would put it across like that. All right. So now my one tip, or one point out, I guess, is because we cut out both of our fashion fabrics at the same time, when you turn them over, the little tab side is going to be on this side over here, but you do everything else exactly the same. For the burp cloth, you follow the exact same steps. You put any embellishment that you want on it first, on the fashion fabric, using Wonder Under or any other thing that you want to do. I cut out the toweling big, like we did on the bib, and you do the sewing and turning and then closing exactly the same way that we did on the bib.